chemicals. I don't even have the paper one of that. Dan. Morning.
We do have the stories you've picked out, and we have you, which is good. Good start.
Let's. The technology side would be fine. That's okay. But talk about technology. We'll just talk about it.
Yeah,
I'm glad you're the tech expert.
That didn't work a minute ago. But anyway, this star's just old-fashioned holding up the story that you've picked up. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so there's a bit of classic about technology taking over the world, but this is a toy that potentially could spy on children. So it listens to your child. Of course, as it's learning about them, of course, it's learning about all their likes and dislikes and all sorts of other stuff. So there's a non-for-profit called Mozilla that's out there, worth actually thinking about this Christmas. The clever stuff you're buying with all this technology in there, could it be doing something you don't actually like from a privacy point of view? So therefore, let's have a look at that. Go online and double-check that actually these things aren't snooping on you a bit more than maybe you'd like.
I like that you've had time to delve inside the supplements as well. This is rare. So you found something in the Times magazine. This is parenting tips for Silicon Valley.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought it was a nice contrast. You've got this world of technology that's taken over, but actually the people behind the scenes who have created these companies, Steve Jobs and all these other folk, are actually kind of a bit of a backlash. And they're saying, actually, we shouldn't have loads of technology, and certainly their families shouldn't. So they're looking at their own children and saying, maybe they shouldn't have smartphones, etc. Even to the ages of 13 and 14. So my daughter Mia, who's 8, is going to be gutted. So sorry, Mia, no phone for you for a while.
So some of these are pretty sort of practical, which are great. Ban screens if it's too late. Things, limit how long people can be able to. Buy your phone a bed. It says miniature beds that come complete with sheets and duvets to tuck your device in for them.
Yeah, that's a bit of a strange one. That's a Silicon Valley thing, so of course it might not be for everyone. That one.
You said that.
Let's be honest. But also, there's another nice thing that's a little bit more sensible, which is about routers and other things. So make sure you've got parental controls on your routers and your Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So again, we've got to be a bit more digitally savvy, and we've got to make sure that kids aren't always bombarded with stuff, and they have, you've got to put your filters on.
It's about acknowledging, look, it's here to stay. There's no getting away from that. So actually having a healthier relationship, and this is applicable to all of us, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think it was over in France that they've kind of banned the smartphone until you're 15 in schools, I think, and I think that's not a bad idea. So I think we've got to weigh up. It's pros and cons, isn't it, with technology?
But I think it's worrying when you have these bosses in Silicon Valley who are coming up with this tech that don't let their own kids use it.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's another one. They're suggesting that schools and send pupils, and even families send pupils on self-reliance trip where they're dropped in a remote patch of wilderness and left to build their own shelters and find their own way home with no money or technology.
Okay, I'm not saying that's the case with that one. I think there's a bit of a geolocation problem there.
Yeah,
exactly.
You're not going to do that to me.
My wife's watching going, no, I wasn't saying this thing. So that's the Steiner side of it. They may have taken it a little far on that side of it. But I think the idea of not having so much technology is no bad thing.
I'm quite liking the tech theme this morning, Dan, so good. This is something out of the Telegraph's money section. Amazon hiring experts for a home robot.
Yeah, so again, this is this thing where I think, I know I'm a technology expert and that's great, and I do social media stuff, but I think we may have sometimes go a bit too far. And I think Amazon's new plan to create this home robot that continually listens to you, maybe we're going a bit too far. What I love about it, though, is Amazon hires expert for secret home robot, not particularly secret if it's on the paper. They may have made an error there.
Maybe the robot was listening into the plans
and linked into something else and printed its own story.
Exactly, and there are all these kind of worries, aren't there? That all these devices that we put into our homes, they're great because they make things easier, but they come at a cost. And I think what we often forget, don't we, is that it is a trade-off. We get these sort of services for free.
Yeah, exactly.
We're actually paying for them with our data.
There's a Faustian pact, isn't there? As it's free, actually you are the product. If you're not buying a product, you are a product. And you've got to look at the data they're all collecting. At some point, we'll maybe look back at this time and say, actually, we gave them a bit too much power. But I'm certainly not here to bite the hands that feed me in any way.
So it'd be interesting to know, where's the line in your household? So what smart devices do you use in your
I
home?
don't have the secret robot. I also don't have one of those home assistants. I don't have a Google Home or
Why is that?
I think it's a bit too weird that they continually listen to you. I don't think that's really right. Personally, I do get told off a lot in my family, and this Christmas, of course, it might all change. You never know. Not from me, I'm not buying them. I mean, Amazon is particularly good at this kind of stuff. Yep. So, we have to be maybe a bit more careful.
OK, let's talk about Black Friday. High Street to lose out on Black Friday. Is that coming up next Friday?
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit earlier this year. They're saying for different reasons. I mean, Amazon I think brought it across 7 years ago. It doesn't feel like it was only 7 years ago, but certainly the amount of money that's bought on that day or particular day. I think it's during the week. I think it's something like 10 billion. and most of it's going to be kind of digital as well. So
I noticed this year as well, a lot of retailers calling it Black November.
Yeah, well, this
is just, I mean, this
is their idea to push it back and back and back until they can
they kind of want to spread out those sales.
Precisely, exactly. I think that's the panic, isn't it? That actually the high street aren't going to do as well because digital's taking over and Amazon and other companies are doing very, very well out of it. So we've got to maybe, again, it's one of those things, isn't it, where you're kind of looking at both, you're thinking, actually, is technology doing really well? If that's the case, great, but what about the high street? What about other retailers?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's declining footfall anyway, and this adds to that. But also they're saying because of the time of the month it falls, 23rd of November, a lot of people haven't been paid, so it just encourages them to spend on their credit cards, just stick it on the plastic.
Yeah, and it's all downhill now to Christmas.
I'm not going to touch that with a barge bomb.
And a quick word about this story in the Express, a train timetable that changes.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking this is the...
sorry,
and it's just next to that.
Oh, yeah, really scary one about spiders. Don't worry about that one. Yeah, don't look at that.
Thank you.
I was thinking about things that you might buy on Black Friday, and one of these things, it's a lovely idea, because my phone's always running out of charge, but they're now going to bring in wireless charging on tables and trains, which I think is a brilliant idea. So these new trains where you can just pop your mobile phone down and it charges automatically.
Brilliant idea, but I prefer them to sort their Wi-Fi out first.
That's super issue.
We all speak from experience. Rubbish Wi-Fi.
Train Wi-Fi is generally rubbish.
Dan, for now, thank you.
Thank you.
You'll be back a bit later, but for now, thanks so much.